He slapped her so hard, her head jerked to the side, right there in front of the bank in broad daylight. People gasped. Some screamed. But the old woman, she didn't cry. She didn't shout. She just looked at him. And smiled. That smile haunted him later. Because unknown to the billionaire, the woman he had just humiliated in public, once saved his life. And worse? She was the only one who knew the terrible secret he thought was buried forever. If only he had known who she really was. But by the time he found out, everything had already started to fall apart. In the heart of Brightview City, where the roads were loud, and everyone was too busy to care, there lived a man named Mr. Raymond Cole. He was not just rich, he was filthy rich. With mansions, cars, and his face on TV almost every week, Raymond was known everywhere. But he wasn't loved. He was feared. People called him the Lion of Brightview. Not because he helped people, but because of how he roared at them, fired them, insulted them, and moved on like nothing happened. One morning, Raymond stepped out of his black SUV in front of his company's newest plaza. His dark shades hid his eyes. His bodyguard followed behind. The workers bowed as he walked past, holding their breath. Nobody wanted to annoy the lion. He was about to enter the building when it happened. An old woman, dressed in a faded gown and a headscarf, stood at the entrance, holding a small tray of groundnuts and bananas. She smiled as Raymond approached and said, "Good morning, my son. Please buy something. Help an old woman feed herself today." That was her only mistake. Raymond stopped. The smile on his face froze. "Are you mad?" he shouted. "Do I look like someone who eats on the road? Do you know who I am?" The woman's smile faded. "I'm sorry, sir. I was only..." Slap. It came out of nowhere. A loud, hot slap across the woman's cheek. Her tray flew from her hands. The groundnuts and bananas scattered across the floor. People gasped. Some screamed. Others just stood there, too scared to say a word. The woman held her cheek. She didn't cry. She didn't speak. She just looked at him. Her eyes were calm, but deep. Raymond pointed at her. "Next time, don't stand in my way like a beggar." And he walked inside. That's where the story should have ended. But it didn't. 3 days later, the news broke across the city. Mysterious woman buys 45% of Cole Enterprises. Raymond's jaw dropped as he read the headline in his office. He threw the paper on the table and shouted, "Who is this woman? Who gave her permission to buy anything?" His assistant, Timmy, looked nervous. "Sir, we tried to stop the deal. But it was legal. She has a powerful team of lawyers. And sir, she now owns more shares than you." "What do you mean?" "She's the new majority owner." Raymond felt cold. "What's her name?" Timmy whispered, "Her name is Mrs. Evelyn Moore." That name shook the entire building. Evelyn Moore? It sounded familiar, but not from any business deal. And then it hit him. The old woman. The one he slapped. No. It couldn't be. At the Brightview Royal Hospital, Evelyn Moore sat beside her younger brother, who was in a coma. She had just returned to Nigeria after 40 years in London, where she had built an empire in real estate and oil. She was rich, richer than Raymond. But she had come home quietly. No press, no interviews. She wanted to find her roots again. She wanted peace. So that Monday morning, she decided to do something simple. She wore regular clothes, picked up a tray, and walked the streets, trying to remember how life used to feel. That was the morning Raymond slapped her. And that was the day everything changed. Raymond couldn't believe it. His pride, his power, his name, suddenly under threat by an old woman he thought was a beggar. He tried everything. He called lawyers. He threatened her. He called her office and shouted insults. But Evelyn said only one thing to him through her lawyers. Tell Raymond Cole that I don't want revenge. I want him to learn. The next day, Raymond's face was all over social media again, but this time, not as a hero. A young man had secretly recorded the slap. He posted it online. Billionaire slaps poor old woman for selling bananas. The video went viral. People cursed him. Workers quit his company. Advertisers pulled out. And just like that, the Lion of Brightview was losing everything. But the worst hadn't come yet. Because Evelyn Moore was about to reveal something nobody saw coming. The news of the slap spread like wildfire. It wasn't just a trending video. It was the talk of radio stations, street corners, churches, and even schoolyards. For the first time, Raymond Cole wasn't the one people respected. They were laughing at him, insulting him, and calling him a disgrace to the city. But what shocked people more was the woman he slapped. Somebody dug up her identity, Mrs. Evelyn Moore. Not only was she a billionaire, she was also a secret philanthropist, the kind of person who donated millions without showing her face. She had paid for hospitals in the north, sponsored orphanages in the east, and rebuilt entire schools in Lagos after a fire. She wasn't just rich. She was respected. And she was back. Raymond paced around his living room that evening. He hadn't slept. His company shares were falling like rain. Clients were pulling out of deals. He had a press conference in 2 days, but what would he say? He had tried everything to reach Evelyn privately. No luck. And now, for the first time in years, he felt powerless. His phone rang. It was his younger sister, Sandra. Raymond, I saw the video. What were you thinking? I didn't know who she was, he said, his voice dry. Even if she was nobody, why slap her like that? What is wrong with you? He stayed silent. Sandra's voice softened. Raymond, you need to apologize. Publicly. I don't do public apologies. Then prepare to lose everything. Click. She hung up. Everyone in Brightview tuned in to Sunrise Show, where Evelyn Moore was scheduled to speak. The host, Angela, leaned forward, excitement in her eyes. Mrs. Moore, I must ask, the man who slapped you, what do you plan to do? Evelyn smiled gently. I'm not here for revenge. Life has taught me that pain teaches louder than punishment. So you'll forgive him? I already have. But forgiveness doesn't mean silence. I will use this to remind the world that how you treat people matters. Whether poor or rich, old or young. Angela nodded. You've bought 45% of his company. People are saying you might take over. Evelyn paused. I didn't buy his company to destroy him. I bought it because I want to change it from the inside. Back at Cole Enterprises. The boardroom was silent. Raymond sat at the head of the table, looking pale. Evelyn walked in with her team. She wasn't dressed like a street vendor anymore. She wore a clean white suit, soft silver earrings, and walked with quiet confidence. Everyone stood up when she entered. Except Raymond. Welcome to Cole Enterprises, Mrs. Moore, said one of the board members. She nodded. Thank you. But this won't be Cole Enterprises for long. Raymond sat up. What does that mean? I'm renaming the company. It will now be called Moore Impact Group. And we're changing everything, starting from how workers are treated. Murmurs filled the room. Some nodded in agreement. Raymond stood. You think you can walk in here and take everything I built? Evelyn looked at him, calm as ever. No. I'm giving it a soul. Evelyn was 17 when she left Nigeria. Her father had died, and her mother was sick. She had begged on these same streets once, selling fruits, washing clothes, doing everything she could to survive. People spat on her. Some beat her. Others pretended she didn't exist. But she remembered one thing that kept her going. Her mother used to say, one day, the world will hear your name, but don't forget the pain that shaped your voice. She had carried that with her, even after becoming rich abroad. And that's why she returned, to walk among the people again, in disguise. And the first man to slap her? Raymond Cole. Raymond was drowning in public shame. His mansion was surrounded by protesters. Sponsors had pulled out of his real estate project. A rumor started that the city council was planning to seize some of his properties over unpaid tax audits. The lion was bleeding. But instead of fighting back, Raymond did something nobody expected. In a video posted on his official page, Raymond appeared in a simple shirt. No shades. No security. No flashy background. His voice was low. To the people of Brightview, to every mother and father, to every woman who saw that video and felt pain, I'm sorry. What I did was wrong. I allowed pride to blind me. And I disrespected someone who has done more for this city than I ever have. He looked into the camera. Mrs. Evelyn Moore. I was raised better than what I showed that day. I know sorry is not enough. But I hope it's a start. He bowed his head. People were shocked. Some forgave him. Some didn't. But Evelyn? She smiled when she saw the video. It reminded her of someone she once knew, a poor, angry young boy who used to steal food just to survive. That boy was Raymond. The next morning, Evelyn invited Raymond to her office. She handed him an envelope. He opened it slowly. Inside was a black and white photo of a young girl and boy, sitting on the floor, holding a bowl of rice. Raymond froze. That's me, he whispered. Evelyn nodded. And that's me beside you. He looked at her, confused. We grew up in the same slum, Raymond. You were 7. I was 9. We shared food many nights. But when the government cleared that area, we were separated. His mouth opened. No words came out. I never forgot you, Evelyn said softly. But I guess, you forgot me. Raymond broke down. Tears rolled down his face. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I know you didn't. Evelyn walked to the window, looking down at the city. I'm not here to bring you down, Raymond. I'm here to remind you who you really are. Raymond looked at her, and for the first time he saw her, not as a threat, but as a mirror. A mirror that showed him what he had become. And the journey to redemption had just begun. It had been 1 week since the apology. Raymond Cole, once the city's pride, was slowly rebuilding his image. His face was no longer on every billboard, but at least the protests had stopped. People were starting to say maybe he had changed. Evelyn Moore, now the largest shareholder of Moore Impact Group, had invited Raymond for a private dinner at a quiet restaurant she owned in the city. I didn't come to talk business tonight, she said, sipping tea. Raymond looked confused. Then why am I here? To tell you something I should have told you long ago. She took a deep breath. The night your mother died. I was there. Raymond's hands froze on the table. You were barely 10. She had collapsed near our compound. Everyone was too scared to help, except me. Raymond's eyes widened. That was you. I held your hand. I stayed until the ambulance came. I kept that photo of us because it reminded me why I had to make something out of myself. Raymond looked down. I always wondered who that girl was. You were my last memory of home before I left. A tear slid down Evelyn's cheek. Just when peace seemed possible, chaos arrived. A tall man with dark sunglasses and a cruel smile stepped into Evelyn's office the next morning. His name was Leon Adams, a ruthless businessman and Raymond's oldest rival. You really think you can change this city with kindness? Leon laughed. Evelyn narrowed her eyes. What do you want, Leon? To finish what Raymond started. He failed. Now I'll do it right. He dropped a file on her table. I'm buying every supplier your company works with. And your licenses? I've already reported them for investigation. In 6 weeks, more impact group will be nothing but dust. Evelyn didn't flinch. You forget something. What? I'm not the girl you bullied in school anymore. Leon blinked. Evelyn leaned closer. I know you're behind the warehouse fire last month. And I have proof. That evening, Raymond and Evelyn met at her penthouse. We have a problem, she said. Leon wants to destroy us both. Raymond nodded. He's always hated me. He's the one who leaked the slap video. And now he's going after you. He's deeper than I thought, Evelyn whispered. He's bribed judges, bought police, and silenced whistleblowers. Raymond pulled out an old USB. This might help. What's that? Proof of his crimes. My father kept records when he worked for Leon as an accountant. I never had the courage to use them. Evelyn smiled. Until now. Together, they made a plan. On a Sunday evening, a citywide broadcast went live. Every channel, every radio station, every screen in Brightview tuned in. Evelyn and Raymond appeared together, side by side. Some of you saw a slap, Evelyn began. But what you didn't see was the pain behind it, and the healing that followed. Raymond continued. This isn't about business anymore. This is about change. They revealed Leon's crimes: fraud, embezzlement, arson. Within hours, arrest warrants were issued. Leon was caught trying to flee the country in a private jet. Justice had arrived. Months passed. Evelyn transformed More Impact Group into a social empire: housing projects, scholarship schemes, safe parks, free clinics. Raymond didn't go back to being CEO. Instead, he became something new, a mentor. He opened a leadership school for young boys from the streets. Boys just like he once was. One afternoon, a small boy named Junior raised his hand. Sir, is it true you once slapped a billionaire? The room went silent. Raymond chuckled. Yes. And I'll regret it forever. But why did she forgive you? Raymond smiled. Because she saw the little boy I had forgotten. At a citywide award ceremony, Evelyn was honored for Humanitarian of the Year. But during her speech, she paused. I want to share one final truth, she said. I never knew my real father. My mother always said he was someone powerful, someone who disappeared. She turned toward Raymond. My mother once told me his name was Henry Cole. Raymond's face went pale. My father. Evelyn nodded. It means, we might be siblings. The crowd gasped. Raymond covered his mouth. That's not possible. She handed him a DNA test envelope. I already checked. Tears fell from both their eyes. A slap brought them together. Blood made them family. A year later, Evelyn and Raymond walked through the same street where the slap happened. Vendors waved at them. Children ran to hug them. One old woman selling oranges smiled. Evelyn stopped, bought one orange, and paid with 1,000 naira. The woman said, Thank you, Ma. May God bless you. Evelyn looked at Raymond. You see? This is the power of kindness. Raymond nodded, smiling for the first time in months. They kept walking, two people once broken by pride, now mended by truth. And as the sun set over Brightview City, the story of a slap turned into something no one would ever forget. A legacy.